Hey y'all, Carpetbagger here, coming to you live today from the bunker. And as I make these travel videos, I try not to talk too much about myself. I mean, I pepper in some personal things here and there. And, you know, in live streams, maybe I'll talk a little bit more about what's going on in my life. But I realize that, it's been a while, and I have quite a few new subscribers. And some of you new subscribers may be asking yourself, who is this guy? What is he doing? Why is he traveling to random roadside attractions? Why does he call himself the Carpetbagger? So I figured I'd do just a little video here where I'm introducing myself to any subscribers who may not have previously introduced myself to. And I figure along the way I can answer a few questions that I get, a few common questions that I get a lot of the time. So hello, my name's Jacob. This is my channel. It's called The Carpetbagger. The channel officially was started in 2013, but I like to trace the beginning of the channel back to the early 2000s on a website called Flickr. It was a photography website. I say was because it's really kind of a dead site, but it was a site where people could upload photographs, leave comments, comment on other people's photographs, and I was interested in still photography back then. And kind of, the focus of my still photography, I took a lot of pictures of abandoned buildings and things like that, but I was really fascinated with not only roadside attractions, but Southern culture. So I did a lot of Southern culture, backwoods stuff, and eventually I continue posting stuff on Flickr. Flickr was actually a really good community back in the heyday. I have some friends that I still keep up with from the Flickr days. But I started to kind of grow and want a different format, something that I could tell stories better. Tell stories maybe more than just posting one singular picture with some comments. Maybe a story, you incorporate different pictures into a story. So I started a blog with a B, and the name of the blog, I picked the name The Carpetbagger, and I had gotten that name. A lot of people ask me where I get the name Carpetbagger from. And what Carpetbagger means is it's a Civil War term. When the Northerners came down to the South after the Civil War, the unwelcome Northerners came down to the South after the Civil War to profit off of the war that had just occurred. And it was a very negative, very, very derogatory term for Northerners that come down to the South. And one time in one of my photos on Flickr, someone with a Confederate flag for an icon actually left me a message, you're what we call a carpetbagger. And I thought that was hilarious. And when I was picking the name for my blog with a B, I just thought of the name The Carpetbagger because it's who I'm from the North. I came down to the South. I would love Southern culture, but I was always an outsider, always kind of outsider looking in, even though I enjoyed everything I saw. So playfully, I chose the name The Carpetbagger, kind of a way to take the insult back and turn it into a positive thing. The blog itself never really picked up steam like I wanted it to, and I had thought of using video format. I figured people do enjoy watching things rather than reading things, but I just wasn't really sure how to make that presentation that I wanted to make. And if you go back all the way to the very beginning of my channel, you can see some experiments, little things I did, try to find my voice in how I wanted to present things. So I really wasn't sure how I wanted to present myself. I really was not wanting to put myself on camera. I really was kind of camera shy. I didn't feel like I had the face for it or the personality. But I kind of looked at different things on the internet. I stumbled upon a YouTube content creator by the name of Adam the Woo, who's now a good friend of mine. And like me, he was interested in traveling, and he liked a lot of roadside attractions and amusement parks like I liked. And I kind of got some of the framework for how I wanted my videos to be from watching his videos. Now, like I said, the actual YouTube channel itself was started in 2013. There's a good period of time trying to find my footing on there, and it started to very slowly pick up steam. And my videos, it took a long time to pick up any sort of steam. The first year I was putting out videos. I was pretty regularly putting out videos, and I only, by the end of that year, had about 500 subscribers. So, it was a very, very slow process. I love making the videos. I love making travel videos. I love traveling, so I just kept pumping those videos out. And this is a good question I get all the time is, what do you do for work? Well, currently, my videos are what I do for work. I've been fortunate enough where I can make enough money off of AdSense, off of selling merchandise, off of my Patreon page that I can sustain, I can feed my family, and I can live, and I can continue to do what I love. But that wasn't always the case. For 10 years, I worked in Child Protective Services as a investigator of child abuse and child neglect. And I was creating my channel at the same time I was doing this work. In my off time, I would travel. I spent a lot of time away from home. I worked a very odd schedule at work where I would work 7 days on and then have 7 days off. And that 7 days that I had off, I would hop in the car and drive around the country and film. Spend a lot of time away from my family. Unfortunately, that was one side effect. That I did have to spend a lot of time away from my family during that period of time, as I was both working a full-time job and trying to build the YouTube channel into something. And then I kind of had the decision made for me on which one I wanted to do full-time. Sadly, if you are on YouTube, there's going to be people that want to do you harm. It's really depressing to say, really depressing to think about. It doesn't matter what your channel is. If you're baking pies, if you are picking flowers, if that's your channel content, you're going to have nasty, awful people that wish to do you harm. And that really says some bad things about our society as a whole, but it is a reality. If you do not want to deal with that, do not have a YouTube channel. Anyways, so people who wanted to do me harm found out where I worked. They contacted my work. They harassed me at work. And I was called in to my job review for the year, and I was kind of ambushed. And the director of my agency was very unsupportive. He said that I needed to get rid of my YouTube channel. He said, "You're done with your YouTube." You didn't ask me. He told me I was done having a YouTube channel. Something that I had just poured blood, sweat, and tears, time away from my family into building, and this man wanted to take it away, with a snap of a finger. I couldn't do that. And I put in my 2 weeks notice on that day. I felt it was the right thing to do to put in my notice, but the second he told me I couldn't have my YouTube channel, I knew I couldn't do it. I couldn't have that part of me taken away. So I called my wife, talked to her about it, put in my 2 weeks notice that day, and then 2 weeks later I left on a giant cross-country road trip. And I owe everything to the viewers. They came out of the woodwork in support. I had a major influx of subscribers to my Patreon page. That really helped soften the blow of losing a full-time job and trying to take on this new job with, I was not making enough money to survive off of when I made that decision. And when I made that decision, I wasn't saying, I didn't make the decision that I was going full-time right then and there. I just knew I couldn't give up my channel. Maybe I was going to get another job and keep my channel. But, yeah, my subscribers really came through for me and allowed me to really build this channel, really build it quickly over that year. Did so much traveling that year. I had an amazing year. And this is where we are. We're still rolling. This train is still on the tracks. This boat is still in the water. And this dirigible is still in the air. So let's see. I think I've answered a lot of the common questions I get. Why do you call the Carpetbagger? How do you afford to do this? Another common question I get is, when are you going to travel outside of the United States? And I definitely understand where people are coming with this question. I have filmed for years in the country of the United States of America. A little sidetrack into Mexico, a little sidetrack little kerfuffle into Canada. But, you know, this channel's mostly been about the United States of America. But when I'm thinking about traveling to other countries, I take a look at the board. Okay, so here's the map of all the different places I've been. I put pins in the map, places I've already been. You notice there's some big holes in the map right here in this Kansas-shaped area. And then up here, in these states here, I've not been to Montana, not been to Idaho, not been to Wyoming, or Utah. So I feel like there's a lot of the U.S. that still needs to be documented, still needs to be conquered, if you will, before I start heading off to other countries. So maybe someday we will be traveling overseas, but for now, we're gonna finish our work here in the United States. Also, common question I get, what is your favorite roadside attraction? I did a whole video about that, and I will put it in the description of this video. I do get some questions about my wife and daughter. In the early days of the channel, my daughter did appear in some of the videos, and it's just a matter of she is a teenager, she has her own identity, she doesn't want to be in the videos anymore, and that was never a requirement for me. You know, when she wanted to be in the videos, I thought it was fun. When she made the decision that she didn't want to be in the videos anymore, you know, respect that, because, you know, she is her own person. And my wife just doesn't necessarily share my obsession with roadside attractions and amusement parks. She does love to travel. She likes certain things, so she'll occasionally pop up in a video here or there. But she isn't able to travel with me. She has her own job, her own responsibilities that do not permit her to travel with me with any sort of regularity. I think that's most of the common questions that I get about myself. I would just ask, if you have any more questions, put them in the comment section. Maybe we'll do a follow-up video, and I'll answer any additional questions that people have. I'll go through the comment. I can't promise I'll answer everyone, but I will go through and try to answer the most common questions that I may be forgetting about in this video. But I appreciate you guys joining me today here in the bunker. Because of some uncontrollable things in the United States, I'm having to make a little bit of an alteration to my normal videos and trying some new things, trying some things from home. Tell me how you like that. Leave a comment about that in the comment section as well. Thank you for joining me. As always, I have an interactive map in the description of every video. It'll take you all the places I've been. You can take a look at that, tell me where I need to go next. Also, if you'd like to help support the channel, I'm selling merchandise in the description. I have an Etsy shop now selling enamel pins and smashed pennies. My Patreon, if $3 or more, will get you a postcard once a month. I think that's enough plugging for now. So until next time, this one's in the bag.